Gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers, happy Monday, February 3rd to all of you. Thank you for watching Sportsbook Review. This is Betting with the Bag. Hope you all enjoyed the Super Bowl last night. I went 4-2 on my props. I did not win that playoff pool I was in for $2,500. I did cash the Chiefs 8-1 for $100, minus $150 that I'd put on the Niners to win the Super Bowl before the Vikings game. All good, 95.3% chance for the Niners with 7 minutes and 49 seconds left in the game. 95.3. I was watching that percentage go up and up and up, and man, Kyle Shanahan, questionable. Very, 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 very questionable. And it happened so fast. I still am like, God, I feel like it's still 2010 Niners, and we're going into the fourth quarter, and everything's glorious. And that is not the case. That is not the case, but I'm very excited to be here with you guys now. A new month. I got to send all my futures in as well, so the month started out with cash for me, so all good. We have a packed show today. 3 NHL games, 10 NBA games, 14 NCAA basketball games. We have Teddy Covers joining us in 18 short minutes. Teddy Covers joining us in 18 minutes, and then 40 minutes after that, Maxwell Smart. And I love these smaller NCAA basketball cards because we can smash each and every game in-depthly. Thank you so much for watching Sportsbook Review. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. Nasty Nate in the house. Slats45, wow. That's such a very, very kind thing to say. Thank you, my friend. That means so much to hear that from you, Slats45. I'm truly, I wake up real early to cap the card, and I'm thankful. I wake up pumped to work with you guys, and I'm just thankful, man. There's Eric Nisbet in there, says, biggest score I've ever made last night. My local had the over-under at 57. Oh, Eric Nisbet, love it. Love it. Oh, man, beautiful, beautiful stuff. There's Dave Berkey in the house. My guy, Dave Burke, ready to get to work. Dear Slayer Ski. Carlos Perot says, yo, Jimmy, no more football, but we got each other. I love it, Carlos. No more football, but we got each other, man. Paul Costa announced, oops, squad cap, Nilo, backdoor cover. Matt Randall coming off sweeping. The Taint Play of the Day swept the whole week last week, 5-0. Man, talking about assets to the show. Matt Randall crushing it on the show, 5-0. Beautiful stuff. Jeffrey Ryan in the house. Jeff Joseph says, slam the first half under and full game under. Great job, Jeff Joseph. Barry McCockner ready to get to work. AM Terrell Miller, serious business. Cobra Sports 609. Mitch Bruner says, yay, hungover, good morning. This was a bit of a battle this morning after the booze of last night. It was a bit of a battle. Stat Guap, and that's my guy Nilo ready to get to work. Viper, NBD, Summers, Brian Watson, Von Polo, Yog Buddha, Toby Lane, Joaquin Jordan, Raven in the desert, Kanaska, Anna Merrick in the house. VAJT10, Dan Kelly, Don Carleone, Tease, Brooke Jordan, Rod Zawacki, John Reese, Arthur, Mead Jr., Repula Gaming, Nick the Slick, Neil P. Yo, AJS, Kevin Pine, Dana Delp, AJS, Lily, there's Lily in the house. Lily, great to see you. Lily Gunn rolling with us. So sweet to see you, Lily. Canadian Capper 72, Darren Cook, Peter Lucas, Melvin Batansis. Dan Kelly says, doesn't feel like the holidays are over until the day after the Super Bowl. Jason Turgi, D Money, let's get to work. Dave Burke said, I passed out at 10 p.m. with all my clothes on, glasses on, and the lights on in the apartment. Respect. Okay, let's get to work right now in NHL. I took some shots on Friday. Jets first period, and it pushed at plus 155. That went down to 120. By the way, the Jets first period, and it pushed, and I was so close. I was 45 seconds away from cashing that. It was 1-0 Jets, and then Bergeron scored late in the first, so that was a push. I also had the Red Wings first period. That pushed as well, but my over in the Knights Hurricanes came in pretty easily. But as you guys know, I just can't get hot in NHL. Now is the time. Rafa, my man, can you pop up the NHL record for me, my friend? There's Marco Deary. Nice to see you, Marco. It's been too long. They're plus 0.07 units. I'm angry. Beautiful. Canadian Capper made $1,600 last night. Great job. James H says, what up, Jimmy? How about those Chiefs? Man, God, it just happened so fast. I swear. It's 2010 Niners right now. We're going into the fourth quarter, and everything's going to be all right. All right, Tease says, I'm looking for the great day I had yesterday to keep happening. I love it, Tease. There's Dom Ricci smashing NHL right now. Love that. Tasha M, Matt Cratchit, damn, be easy cash with the under 6.5 punts for the game. And San Francisco to 3.5 punts. That wasn't very easy. I got it at 7.5. I added the Robbie Gould prop. I went 2-1 on the Damian Williams props. I got the longest reception by a half yard. I lost the overall receiving yards by a half yard. But I did get the 4 receptions over 3.5 by a half reception. That was pretty tight. Pretty tight looking back. 4-2 on props, whatever. It is all good. Let's get to work right now. Jordan Smith in the house. Mo Sauce, Res Mob. All right, let's go. We're going to start with Panthers Leafs. Let's pull up the best odds page on the planet, sportsbookreview.com, SBR odds page. Also, if you like this content, please like and subscribe, and also hit the link at the bottom of the page, www.sbrvideo.com/thebag. That would mean so much to me. Thank you. Let's get to work and pull up NHL right now. We're going to start with this Panthers Leafs spot. Look, the Panthers looked real rusty in that 4-0 loss to the Habs. And now, do we know if Barkov is going to be in the lineup? He left the game Saturday during the second period with lower body injury. Oh, I expect him not to be in the lineup. There's our guy, Big Ragu, in the house. Is what's good after exciting Super Bowl plus 58.3 units in the Super Bowl. What a job, Big Ragu. Wow, you absolutely crushed it. Paul Costa said, how did Damian Williams not win MVP? He was close. He was close. Res Mob cashed the Jimmy G over 214 yards. Nice job. That was one of my prop bets I lost. It pissed me off that I made that a play for the live line to put in on their account. Jimmy G over. God, but whatever. It is what it is. Rod Zwack said Williams got robbed of MVP. That would have been a big score for those guys on it. Dom Ricci won $750 on the Chiefs. Users went 8-3 on $50 props. Nice job, Dom. Tommy, baby, I love it. All right, Bobrovsky, Anderson, the Panthers looked very, very, very rough in that first game back in Montreal. But do we know, let's pull up and see if it is so crucial for Alexander Barkov to be in the lineup, not only to be in the lineup, but to get hot here coming down the wire. Last year, coming down the stretch run, he got insanely hot. No update right now after Sunday's practices. We'll know more later on the day. This is Joey Quenneville. Joel Quenneville says he's doing better today, but we don't have the final answer for you. So we don't know if Barkov will be in the lineup. You know, if I knew Barkov would be in the lineup, I might make a move here on the Panthers, and I am not going to here. They open up at plus 139. They're up to plus 153. So there's been a 14-cent move towards the Maple Leafs. Let's go to totals here as well. Open up at 6.5, heavily juiced to the over minus 128. That's where it stands right now. Bobrovsky, Anderson, Panthers, and Leafs have weak penalty killing, which allows high scoring games. 77.7% penalty killing for the Panthers, 77.4% penalty killing for the Leafs. Leafs have won all 3 games since the All-Star break. 2-1 win coming off Saturday night at home against the Senators. As I said, Panthers' first game since January 21st. They lose 4-0 to the Habs in Montreal. Barkov gets hurt. And the Leafs pressing the right buttons with Kasperi Kapanen, healthy scratch. This is working in other teams, benching their young stars or the guys they expect more of, and they come out firing. Kapanen will be back in the lineup today. I've got no move here. Yog Buddha says, like the Leafs over, top set still in shell shock. Yes, I still feel like we're going into the fourth quarter, and everything's going to be okay. That's how I feel. I'm not making a move on Panthers, Leafs. Deerslayer Ski says maybe Dallas Rangers under for me. Junior Smitcham liking Rangers money line and over. Our guy Rod's wacky now says Leafs 2-4 last 6 home games. They're just 13-6-7. They've lost 7 games in overtime or shootout at home. So they've won 13 out of 26 games. 13 in regulation out of 26 games at home. Not to be trusted. And I'm off of that spot. Then we have Stars Rangers. Why don't we move to a game where I am making a move? Let's move to a game I'm making a move right now. Flyers, Red Wings. Jonathan Bernier is back. It looks like Alex Lyon might be in goal for these Flyers. I just feel like this is a spot. What up, Jason Fritz in the house? I just feel like this is a spot where the Flyers could come in a little lackadaisical early. Wings have lost 8 straight, but Bernier did give them a bounce Detroit has been outscored 12-3 over a 0-3-1 home skid. 1 for 16 on the power play, allowing opponents to go 6 for 16. They're just playing bad hockey. But Dylan Larkin starting to heat up a little bit. The Flyers feeling good about themselves. 3-0-1 over their last 4, 5-1-1 stretch. Because of all that, I am making a move here on the Red Wings first period at a juicy big plus line. Let's see what I'm getting right now. Red Wings first period. I'm getting a plus 158 at 5 dimes, and I'm moving with that right now. Red Wings first period. There we go, first period. I also have not locked any bets in so far this morning, plus 158. All right, we're in business. Red Wings first period. Let's get the Flyers to come in feeling good about themselves. This is my favorite type of first period spot. And I'm not saying it's a very high chances to cash or anything like that. But this is my favorite first period spot. You have a road team coming in feeling really good about themselves on a nice little run. And the team that's the huge underdog is at home and has been at home for a little while. I am on Canadian Capper says Flyers own Detroit. Jimmy, don't do it. Watch me do it, Canadian Capper. And I've been cashing on Red Wings first periods at big plus lines against many teams that own the Detroit Red Wings. So it's locked in. And we have the tape play. There's Randy C. in the house. Thank you for joining us, Randy C. And Athanasiu, probable to return for the Wings. Backdoor cover says, Jimmy, do you know your record for first periods? I could pull it out. And I could share it with you guys tomorrow. But I don't have that. I did not send that in. That's not one of my records that I've sent in. But, I will get that for you. I'll have that for you on tomorrow's show. Robert Allen says, Flyers own Detroit every time they play. Perfect. That's what you want when you have a first period dog. A team that owns them, that comes in sloppy and cocky. That's what you want. All right, there we go. Thank you, Big Ragu. Thank you, Big Ragu. That's what I needed. That's what I needed. Ian, Eric Nesbitt talking about the Deontay Wilder-Tyson Fury fight. Man, that's going to be fun. I am so excited about that match, and we'll have breakdowns on the show this week. Joaquin Jordan says, remember what happened Friday? They both pushed. No concerns. And I came, within 45 seconds of a huge score with the Jets? No concerns, Joaquin. No concerns. Brian Watson said Red Sox trading bets. I'll believe it when I see it, that they would trade such a spectacular young future Hall of Famer. I'd be shocked. But God, baseball throws twists and turns. Okay, let's talk Stars Rangers. We've already heard a few cappers on the under, and I can understand why they're on the under, especially with this Dallas Stars power play doing absolutely nothing right now. Let's go to full game money lines and totals here. There's AJS. He's going to sprinkle a little on the Wings. Mark Rosada says Red Wings first period doesn't mean he thinks they win the game. Thank you, Mark. T says, Jimmy, when you post first period record, please include ROI because you kill the first period dogs. Sure, yeah, I will do that for sure. Robert Allen says, Jimmy, you make me feel alive. Happy Monday to you, Robert Allen. Isn't this great? Other people going to work being like, near cases and Mondays. And we get to sit here, cap a card, kill a card, get pumped up about it. All right. Let's roll right now on this Rangers Stars spot. Stars open up at minus 132. They're now minus 138. And this total sitting at 5.5. And we've been seeing a lot of Dallas Stars totals at 5.5, heavily juiced to the under. And this is not one of them. We're expecting Shesty to be in goal. Igor Shesterkin for the Rangers. I don't know if you guys know who will be in goal for sure. They have that three-headed monster. And Lundqvist coming off that shutout. That's the first King Henrik shutout since 2017. Bishop in net for the Stars. 2.31 goals against average, 925 save percentage. This Stars team has nice special teams. 83.3% penalty killing, 18.5% power play. Rangers 22.2% power play, 78.7% penalty killing. All right, so let's... Dan Kelly loves a money line dog. We know that, and we love it. Okay. And Dom Regis says, I'm on the over in the Rangers game. Interesting, Dom. Very, very, very interesting. Deer Slayer going to play the Rangers under. Rangers won 6 of their past 9. So now they're 9 points out of that final spot, that final wild card spot. And I think the management wishes they were 15 points out, so that they could start moving Kreider, who just got hurt, by the way. I don't know if you guys know if Kreider... There's 2 key injuries in this game. One, Rupee Hint Missed last 2 games with upper body injury for these Stars. And then, of course, there is Chris Kreider. After he took a hit in the head from Zibanejad in that 1-0 win over the Red Wings. Stars are coming off that 3-2 overtime win over the Devils on Saturday. Little Joe Pavelski scored the winner in overtime. He only has 20 points on the season. He's on pace for his lowest scoring season since 2012, 2013. He only played 48 games that year. If Little Joe gets hot, this Dallas Stars team is dangerous, and we know the Western Conference is weak. There's no reason why this Dallas Stars team couldn't roll all the way to the Stanley Cup final. There's no reason that is out of the question because the West is so weak. Attaboy, Lamont Williams, great work. Great work. Poppy Longwood liking a final score in that Red Wings Flyers game to be 5-2. Oh, my God, Brian Watson, that's just crazy. So he's got to be going to the Dodgers. I mean, what do you have to give up for Mookie? God, that's just nuts. How do teams move future Hall of Famers like that? It's just absolutely nuts. Robert Allen liking Kansas City, going to copy and paste that as well right there. Copy and paste there. All right, that's the only move I'm making in NHL. The only move I'm making in NHL is the Red Wings first period. And that is it. And I saw the Taint. I thought I copied and pasted the Taint play of the day. There it is. Lafayette, money line. There we go. Other plays, Howard +4. North Carolina A&T and South Carolina State under 146.5. That's exciting. Thank you for sharing that. Matt Randall coming off a 5-0 sweep of the Taint play of the day. Okay, my only look. Red Wings, first period. That is my only look on this card. All right. Let's move on to NBA. I was on the Blazers on Friday night when everybody told me that the Lakers were going to win by 50 and blah, 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 blah. Death is heavy. You don't all of a sudden turn into Black Mamba. It's heavy. It weighs on you. And I wasn't going to make the same mistake twice by not backing a road team when the other team was dealing with this very difficult situation in Kobe's death. If I wish I had taken him on the money line, then I could be a real spectacular capper. But I had the Blazers plus 13 here on the show, plus 12.5. But I did give that money back on the under in that Brooklyn Nets Bulls spot on Friday. So it's just 1-1. Rafa, my man, can you pop up the NBA record for me, please? There it is. It's okay. I need to do better. I need to be better. And Maverick McNeely coming in from Dan Kelly for a huge score. Okay, I'm going to copy and paste that, Dan, right there. Tom Marino has been cashing on these shot props over and over again. Listen to him. Listen to him. Says, I've hit Panda and shot prop over 2.5 several times in a row. I'll be on that. I like it. And I've been watching you cash with Tom Marino. Thank you for sharing that. We have Teddy Covers joining us here in a minute. In 1 minute to cap this big NBA card. We have 10 games on the schedule. And why don't we start talking Warriors, Wizards? And Jose Felix says, spot to hammer Lakers was versus the Kings. It sure was, wasn't it? Absolutely. Don Reed said Kyrie last week didn't hit. Yeah. And then what did you see? Kyrie right after that, he goes off for 52. Now he's out with a knee injury. We will be talking about that. And Wendy Carducci in the house says Dallas Stars easy money. Dallas Stars on the road. And Don Regis says stop the emotional betting. Well, I've really enjoyed capping NBA with our first guest on the show. I feel like we are on a roll right now. Let's welcome him to the show on a Monday morning, fresh off of victories in the Super Bowl. Oh, Teddy, we were counting down your under 7 no score in the first 7 minutes. We were counting it down, and he got it by 3 seconds. He got the no score in the first 5 minutes. He got no score in the first 7 minutes. And the 7 minutes was a big plus line spot. Welcome, Teddy Covers, coming to us live from Las Vegas, Nevada. How you doing, my man?
So it's so funny because as that's going on, there was a penalty on third down that forced like another 5 seconds off the clock. So they got one more play they had to run before kicking the field goal. It worked out beautifully. And the props ended up, it was a pretty good day for the props overall. It wasn't a sweep. It wasn't going to be a sweep, but that Damian Williams made me nuts. They kept on targeting him, and they ended up finishing up a half. Depending on where you got it, you may have gotten a half yard short or a half reception short on Williams. If you bet it early, like we talked about, you got overs. But there was a lot of stuff that came in right around the number. Half-yard winner and losers, half-point winner and losers. There was some, longest completion of the game, 44.5 yards. Oops. You got 44 to Tyreek, but not 45. So, really entertaining game. I hope you guys made some money yesterday. And sorry about your Niners, Jimmy. I did not feel like I had the right side with KC until the very last touchdown of the game.
Oh, man, Teddy, I was watching the win probability. I just couldn't stop looking at the win probability, and it was 90 and then 92%, and then it got up to 95.3%. I swear, it feels, I don't know if it's like the heavy boozing or what, but it feels like a dream. Like I wake up today, I'm like, that didn't really happen. I feel like it's still 2010. We're going into the fourth quarter. It just happened so fast. It happened so fast where I'm like, that didn't really happen. Did that really just happen? Did they really win by 11 points? Like, I'm just like, it's,
The final score was not indicative of the game. 31-20, say, oh yeah, KC easy. No, San Fran was the right side for the most part of that game. But down the stretch, one QB made plays and one QB didn't. And that was my whole bet is I'm like, I want the Michael Jordan of quarterbacks. And Garoppolo had him open. Garoppolo had Sanders open for the game, what might have been the game-winning touchdown. And it didn't hit him. And Mahomes didn't miss those throws. So, it was a really quick turnaround. I don't blame you for feeling like, was that a dream? Is all a haze? They had hours and hours of San Fran being in good spot in that game. And all of a sudden, not so much anymore. But I'm sorry, Jimmy. I cashed with KC. I ain't going to give the money back. But it certainly wasn't a right side.
Yeah, it's, I was in a nice spot because I still had that 8-1 on the Chiefs. And, but yeah, it's tough. It's tough. You get so emotionally attached to these players and these teams, and it's tough. It's tough. Robert Gunn says Jimmy G is not good. So many of those props, watching the Mahomes rush yard prop not hit was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And
devastating.
Yeah. I mean, is 15 yards, losing that many yards? I mean, was that as shocking as any prop loss you've ever seen?
Yes. Although, again, if you bet Mahomes over rushing yards, there were 27.5s out there. There were 28.5s out there. There were 33.5s out there. Line shopping matters, and that's why, when we do the shows here at SBR, we're always like, take advantage of this sportsbook special offer. Take advantage of this sportsbook special offer. When you have the ability to line shop, you win those by a half yard instead of losing them by a half yard. I mean, it happens and that Mahomes, brutal. What do you take? Like a 7-yard loss on one of the kneel downs at the end. And then a 5-yard and then a 3-yard, I think it was, to make it 15 total, and you lose by a hook. I mean, honestly, I don't know that. When you rank them in the pantheon of bad beats, that's really bad. That's absolutely disgusting, But there were still people that cashed Mahomes over rushing yards yesterday. So it's a disgusting beat, but you also have to look in the mirror and say, hey, I didn't bet this right, because some people cashed that as a winner. But it was pretty disgusting. I mean, really disgusting. That's as tough a beat as you're going to find, the props that are, you cashed him in the third quarter, and then, no, we didn't. Those are brutal.
What do you think about Kyle Shanahan now after seeing another fourth quarter letdown? Do you question his play calling come crunch time?
Not even a little bit. I didn't think there was. So I watched that. Obviously, you watched it really closely, but I was paying a lot of attention to the play calls for San Fran. Obviously, given the situation that I had a big bet on Atlanta back in the day, and blamed Shanahan at least somewhat. This wasn't Shanahan. This was Garoppolo. This was a quarterback who didn't make plays with the game on the line. And I really didn't blame the play calling. There might have been one third down where he might have run instead of passed, but it wasn't an issue where the play calling was sour. It was an issue where the quarterback didn't make plays down the stretch. One QB did and one QB didn't. And the coach is going to take the blame for that. You blew a lead, you blew another lead, and now it's going to hang over his head. But I don't look at Shanahan and say he failed yesterday. His team failed. But there was a brilliant game plan for San Fran in that contest. Their quarterback just didn't execute when the game mattered most.
Yes, and let's move on and get that cash right now. Happy Monday. Let's get past last night and get to work. Teddy, beautiful 10-game card for us to hammer. Let's start going through them one at a time, and then you can let us know once we hit a game whether you've already made a move. Speaking of which, just so I'll know, how many have you got to the window with any action in NBA so far?
3.
Beautiful. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, let's just hit each game, and then we'll find out which ones that you've done one at a time. Let's start with Warriors, Wizards, and we're going to the best odds page on the planet here. I'm moving over to NBA here, and I've got my pinnacle opener, spreads and totals. Let's get to work on this Warriors spot. I find both these teams extremely difficult to cap, Teddy. Wizards open up at -4.5. Now they're at 5.5. There's a 6 at U-Wager, and Bovada. This total opened at 236. There's some 235s out there. There's some 236.5s out there. Wizards are healthy again. Wizards are healthy, and now they have a bench that's playing well. Bertans, Ish Smith, Troy Brown, and Thomas Bryant. So now they've got size back. They could get Rui Hachimura back today. He's supposedly going to be good to go for the Rising Stars game on the All-Star weekend. Wizards are 2-0 on this 6-game homestand. Beal, like you said and predicted, has been unbelievable since not getting into the All-Star game. 38.2 points per game over the last 6. He is rolling right now. And then these Warriors get Kevon Looney back. They're coming off a 131-112 win at Cleveland. Draymond Green looked like he enjoyed playing basketball for one of the few times that we've seen all year. Take it away, Teddy. Is there a move to be made here, Warriors, Wizards?
Not a strong one. For me, at least, I didn't play the game. My number on the game was Washington 7, and yet the concept of laying more than 5 points with the Wizards and the type of defense, the Olay defense that they've been playing, I'm just not comfortable doing it. And you talked about Washington being healthy. Golden State's as healthy now as they've been at any point this year. I mean, literally, even if Russell doesn't play tonight, they'll still be as healthy as they've been at any point this season. The rotation there, they got Looney back in the lineup of all guys. And won by 25 that may have been a buy sign on Golden State. We haven't seen anything resembling a buy sign on the Warriors all year. And that blowout win when healthy, if they win again tonight or come close, to me, Golden State's a team that literally for the first time this season, I'm interested. Maybe we'll find, some opportunities to back the Warriors. I don't think I bet on them, maybe once or twice all year. I'll take the under. But this might be the spot. And I know the Wizards defensively are a team that and you look at it in the point spread record. Washington hasn't been a team you want to lay points with. Fascinating game to consider. But from again, my number's a little bit high, and yet my lean is towards the underdog. So that's going to keep me on the sidelines for this one. And again, note with Hachimura coming back tonight for the Wiz, just like Oladipo comes back for the Pacers, and they immediately get worse. They want to get, and Indiana got worse. Oladipo came back. Zion came in for New Orleans, 2 games, they're worse. Takes a couple of games. When guys get back into and out of the lineup, and not that Hachimura is a guy who's going to be a key complement from minute 1, but the markets will jump up when Hachimura returns to the lineup or is announced as in, and in my mind, that's not necessarily a positive in a guy's first game back, and he's just getting his feet under him.
And I thought that D'Angelo Russell was questionable, but the chat saying that he will be out of the lineup. He will be out of the lineup. No D'Angelo. There's Datfire TV, and now Steven Esposito. Lotus Scalper ready to get to work. Mally Mal says Wizards smash them. Wizards smash them. All right, let's keep rolling through this NBA card. Next up is Magic Hornets. And God, I love unders with the Charlotte Hornets, and it was at 202 or 202.5 this morning, and it's still there, still sitting at 202.5, so there are no 202s on the board. Pace last 5 for the Orlando Magic, 30th in the NBA. The pace last 5 for the Hornets, they had been 30th. They're now 26th in the NBA. Magic only getting 95 possessions a game, 8-16 on the road against the 8-15 at home Charlotte Hornets. Hornets have lost 10 of 11. They were in control of that game at San Antonio on Saturday night, and then 19-point lead gone like that. Bridges goes for 25. PJ Washington hurt his ankle, so he's questionable to be in the lineup. Marvin Williams started for him because of that ankle injury. And these Magic, they haven't scored more than 107 points in their last 7 home games. I know this is a low total, Teddy, but I'd like to go under it. Have you made a move here with Magic Hornets?
I have, but it's side, not total. And I laid with Orlando today, flat out. This is their get-right spot. Their last win came at Charlotte, comfortable fashion, a week and a half ago. Since that time, they played the Thunder, the Celtics, the Clippers, and the Heat twice. Good team, good team, good team, good team, good team. Now they're playing a bad team again. This is Orlando's get-right game. Charlotte's hopeless, okay? There's when you talk about a team that lacks low-post presence, that's Charlotte right now. And with an Orlando squad that, again, Clifford's had his former team's number. This has been a fairly one-sided series in favor of the Magic. They won here comfortably just a few weeks ago. And this is their get-right game. Yeah, I like Orlando. I thought the price was reasonable at 4.5. My number was 4 on the game, so it's not like it's a huge power rating issue for me. But from a spot standpoint, this is an Orlando team that they don't do a lot of things right. The one thing they do right is they beat teams with no low-post presence that aren't any good, like Charlotte. So I laid the price with the Magic as road chalk, despite the fact that they're on that 5-game skid. This is their get-right game. From a total standpoint, I certainly wouldn't talk you out of any under. It's not like they're going to be pushing the pace on either side in this ball game. It's not like I would expect extraordinary offensive execution on either side in this contest. But again, at 202.5 in the modern NBA, there's not a whole lot of wiggle room on that under. And one thing you don't want is a tight game with scramble points at the end.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You don't want it, and we are expecting a tight game because there's a road favorite, and last thing you want is the fouling to take you over. I still lean towards the under. Our Viper MB says that total is too low for a full game under. First half might be better. I've yet to make any moves. Teddy is now on the board with Magic minus 4.5. Let's move on to Knicks Cavaliers. Knicks Cavaliers, see what we're dealing with. Cavaliers open up as 2-point favorites. Total at 217.5 is now down to 215 at Pinnacle, 215.5 at the other books. Knicks pace last 5, 28th in the NBA. Cavaliers 14th in the NBA. Knicks coming off that surprise 92-85 win at Indiana on Saturday night. That second fewest points allowed of the season. They held the Pacers to 11 points first quarter, 14 in the fourth quarter. And that was their first game since that Memphis Grizzlies loss, 21-point Memphis Grizzlies loss, where we saw, the Marcus Morris get upset and call Jay Crowder a woman, basically. Knicks are 4-12 over the past 16 games, and Marcus Morris has apologized. Then he had a big game. The Knicks had a big game. The Cavaliers looked awful against the Warriors. They've lost 10 of 11. They're just a bad basketball team. Of those 10 losses, 7 have come by double digits, and they've fallen to teams under 500 6 times, including Saturday. They're just a bad basketball team, and here they're favored. Teddy covers Knicks Cavaliers.
Oh, this one's the easiest pass on the board, And we talked, honestly, if I'm playing this game, it's Knicks plus. We've talked about the Cavs as chalk before. They've been favored 6 times this year. They've lost all 6 of those games. We talked about it last time they were home chalk. We're like, can't lay points with Cleveland. Can't do it. You can't lay points with. If you want to lay points with Cleveland, knock yourself out. I'm not laying points with Cleveland. Not against anybody in any circumstance. Okay. They're bottom 3 team in the NBA. So no, it's a one-way game a priori for me. I'm not even considering the Cavs side. So you say, all right, gee, we got the Knicks off a win. How are the Knicks doing off a win this year? In a game they got to win again, probably to cover, what do I got? 3-10. Yeah, 3-10 off their previous 13 victories. Not like the Knicks are putting back-to-back winning streaks together. In the games they're winning because the other team's not right or the other team plays ugly. And may well be the case with Cleveland. They own Cleveland, beat them up a couple times already in recent weeks. And, if they do it tonight, I wouldn't be shocked either. But do I really want the Knicks off a win in a game where they got to win again? Knicks are pass, but it's a pass.
Sammy liking the under. Same with FSU. Chatfield liking the under. Mally Mal on Knicks money line right now. Barry liking the Cavs. And D. Summers letting us know New York 6-2 against spread in their last 8 games. And Glenn Elliott Man saying Knicks just beat them by 20 on January 20th. D. Summers says Cleveland 2-5 against spread in their last 7. Knicks plus 109 on the money line, and New York plus 2 is for D. Summers. Okay, let's keep rolling. I've yet to make a move on this NBA card at this point. Now let's talk Mavericks, Pacers, Dallas, Indiana. Indiana opening up at -4.5 now, -5.5. There's total 216.5 is all the way down to 212.5 at Bookmaker and up to 214 at Pinnacle Line Shopping. Paramount, Mavericks, Pacers, Mavericks 16-7 on the road. They've been good on the road all year, but now we have a team without Luka Doncic for at least another week, and Kristaps Porzingis was rested on Saturday. He should be back in the lineup. Man, Jalen Brunson looked good against Trae Young, and then Trae Young left with an injury. But Jalen Brunson, 27 points as the starting point guard there for these Mavs. Oladipo's not looked good in the 2 games since coming back from a very long injury absence. They got over it to beat the Bulls on Wednesday, and then they lose to the Knicks. And now TJ Warren, head injury, will probably not be in the lineup here, probably in concussion protocol. Mavericks, Pacers, is this a get-right spot for the Pacers, Teddy?
It is not, in my opinion. This is bet number 2. I took Dallas plus 5 at Indiana. I got Orlando -4.5, Dallas plus 5 so far in my pocket among the games that we talked about. And this one's real simple for me, all right? We had Dallas on Friday night at Houston, all right? The Rockets hit 21 three-pointers. They were plus 11 in turnovers, and they didn't cover the spread. They were 85% from the free throw line, and they didn't cover the spread. And that right there, I'm like, this is a buy sign on Dallas without Luka. I had him the next night. I had him against Atlanta. That was cheap. It was like 4 or 5 against Atlanta. It was 6. I forget what it was, but it was really cheap in that game. I think, was it 4? I don't even remember. This has been the whole weekend's like a haze now on Monday. But I know it was very cheap for Dallas against Atlanta. I laid less than I thought I was going to lay in that game on the second of back-to-backs. And again, Trae Young got hurt, but Dallas controlled the flow, 123-100. You talk about Jalen Brunson, all right? There's a guy who, no, he's not Luka. Can he fill Luka's minutes? You bet he can. Will the markets overreact to the absence of a key player for Dallas? You bet they will. Indiana's not right, all right? And you read the post-game quotes after that loss to the Knicks at home, and Nate McMillan, hey, we're a work in progress. Hey, you're trying to fit Oladipo back in. First couple games when the star comes back, the team isn't right. You know, I thought that Dallas is bet on every way, shape, or form right now. I expect to bet on the Mavs every game without Luka between now and the All-Star break. I'm on them today, plus 5.
Plus 5 for the Mavericks for Teddy Covers. I've still yet to make a move on this card. Let's move over to Suns, Nets, Phoenix, Brooklyn here. Brooklyn opening up at -2.5 to where they stand right now. There's a 3 at Bovada. The total opened up at 227.5, bet all the way down to 223.5 at Pinnacle right now. Suns pace last 5, 8th in the NBA. Nets 19th in the NBA. Kyrie Irving out for at least a week with a sprained ligament in his right knee, and we know when Kyrie Irving's supposed to be out a week, he's going to be out a month. He was injured 113 in that 113-107 loss at Washington on Saturday, 5.5 minutes left in the fourth. Dinwiddie's going to step up in his absence as he does, and this Nets team may have value without him. Phoenix is now 9 games under 500, 2-5 in their last 7. They began a 3-game trip on Sunday, losing to the Bucks 129-108. Booker rolling, but Rubio, Saric sat out Sunday's game. Ty Jerome left calf injury. This is a beat-up team. No Baines, no Kaminsky, no Cam Johnson. Is this a spot where we take the Nets without Kyrie, Teddy?
Yes. That's bet number 3. Nets -2.5 in pocket. Maybe I'm missing something, all right? But this number looks pretty darn cheap to me to back Brooklyn at home against the Suns team on the second of back-to-backs. They're shorthanded. They played a bunch of guys 30-plus minutes yesterday. They're not fresh. They're not right. They're not playing good ball. And, okay, it's not like the Nets haven't played without Kyrie before this year. You know, they just played 26 games without him. And it's not like the Nets are in hey, we're feeling good. No, they're angry. They just got a bad game, a bad loss, a bad fourth quarter against the Wiz. And 2.5? I mean, again, my number wasn't crazy high on this game, it was 4, but 2.5 just smelled really low. And it's not like I'm afraid to take the Nets without Kyrie. They played half the year without Kyrie. They played fine half the year without Kyrie. And Phoenix isn't any good. So, yeah, that's a spot where I laid it with Brooklyn. I thought it was, again, very cheap. And that one, too, in my pocket. That's the 3 NBA bets that I've put in pocket for today, although there's still one more I'm thinking about. I don't know that I'm going to get there.
This makes perfect sense to me, Teddy. I don't like seeing D. Summers on the other side, but this just makes perfect sense to me. Here we have a beat-up Suns team on the second half of a back-to-back, and then Nets team that steps up without Kyrie. This just makes perfect sense to me. I'm going to roll with you. Make my first play of the day, -2.5 and -105. That is available at 5 Dimes and Heritage. I'm on the board, -2.5 and -105 for these Brooklyn Nets at home. Teddy on the play as well. Let's move on to Celtics, Hawks. Celtics, Hawks. Very interesting little while in NBA. I mean, everybody was on the Sixers with when they went into Boston. Sixers just have Boston's numbers, blah, blah, blah. I watched that game, and the Celtics were in complete control all game long. All game long. Now we have Trae Young, who may or may not be in the lineup. Also, Cam Reddish, face contusion, so he's in concussion protocol. DeAndre Hunter, ankle sprain, he's not in the lineup. They're already without DeAndre. Bembry, Bruno Fernando, and Alex Len, and Jabari Parker. John Collins rolling, though, right now. And Herter rolling as well. Both those guys I'm interested, especially Collins. I have some interest in backing John Collins here in a prop bet of some kind. Celtics also hurting. Kemba Walker left knee soreness. Enes Kanter right hip contusion. Kanter is questionable. Marcus Smart questionable with a right thigh contusion. And Tatum did come back. Hawks, Celtics. Celtics opened up at -6, now -7 or 6.5 on the road. Teddy, is there a move to make here?
I mean, there's a lot of moving pieces on the injury front. I'm showing Walker, Kemba as being out tonight. For Boston. Kanter, doubtful. Smart, doubtful. And again, it's not like the Celtics haven't been winning games without guys. They've been battling injuries from the get-go this year. But it's also not like Boston's a team that you say, all right, hey, miss as many guys as you want, and let's lay 7 with you on the highway. The Celtics have played up or down to the level of competition at times in recent weeks, and that concerns me here. But, let me start with this. It's Boston or pass. All right, I don't want Atlanta. And the Hawks defense is, right there with the Wizards right now. And when you look at the pieces that could be missing, and again, we don't know, but I don't know if Trae Young's going to play tonight. He was out early the other night, and he's dealing with the ankle injury. Talk about Hunter and Fernando and Bembry and Reddish and Len and on down the line. I mean, Atlanta's a bad team that's riddled with injuries. I don't trust them to step up against a good team like Boston. So it's Celtics or pass, but I'm not convinced this is the spot where Boston's going to bring max effort in their A game and, just lay a beat down on Atlanta, go wire to wire here. It's, they're coming off that big win against Philly. And again, the Sixers had their number. So that was kind of a step up game. And this is not a step-up game for Boston. I'm afraid they might play like it. So a tough game for me, easy pass.
Let's move on to a very exciting spot, Philly at Miami. Let's see what the odds market is telling us here at sportsbook.com SBR odds page. Miami opening up at -3.5, now -2.5. This total opened up at 213, now 212. Heat pace last 5, second slowest in the NBA, 29th in the NBA. Heat are coming off 102-89 win at Orlando on Saturday night. Myers Leonard stepped up. Tyler Hero continues to play great basketball, 23 points off the bench, 6 of 10 from 3. Miami 2-1 against Philly this season, 2 straight wins, one of them on the road. Winslow still out for the Heat. Sixers have lost 3 of their past 5. They lost badly in Boston, and Embiid went 1 for 11, and Josh Richardson continues to be out for the Sixers. Teddy, what do you think here? Side, total, any lean, Sixers, Heat?
Oh, the lean's Miami. I mean, the lean is not Philadelphia here. And the number's really cheap on the Heat. My powering number is like 5.5, 6 for this game. So but I've been a little bit off market on Miami, and I think it might be time to get off market on Philadelphia. On the one hand, this is in theory, this is supposed to be the Sixers get right spot. You start off the road trip with back-to-back losses. You're a good team off back-to-back losses, the first two on the road trip. Game 3 is your step-up spot. And you see it over and over again. This is a league-wide type of thing that I try to pay attention to, and this is that spot for Philadelphia. And that was a bad loss. Embiid was 1 of 11 and an uncharacteristic performance. In theory, this is most assuredly a step-up spot for Philadelphia in a meaningful game. The question is, and it's a real question that maybe it's time to ask ourselves, Sixers any good, or is this team about to implode? Because I don't like anything I'm reading out of the locker room. I don't like anything that I'm reading, that I'm watching on the court. I don't like the coaches' quotes. I don't like the players' quotes. I'm worried about Philly right now. I'm worried about their internal team chemistry, and I am not worried about Miami's internal team chemistry. That team just continues to roll. And from a personnel standpoint, now people are finally learning someone on the Heat's name other than Jimmy Butler. You ask your average fan, name me a player on Miami other than Butler, and they can name Bam or Hero or something. There's a couple of guys whose names keep popping up as opposed to, I don't know, Miami. Let's see, they got Jimmy Butler and some role players. Spoelstra's they've been overachievers all year. The markets haven't fully respected them all year. And they certainly don't fully respect them given this number. So it's Miami or pass. I'm passing based solely on the fact that if Philly's going to come, this will be the game they come. Philly loses tonight. If Philly gets smacked around tonight, they might be a dead nuts fade moving forward, at least between now and the All-Star break. Right now we're looking at short-term stretches. The next couple of weeks between now and the All-Star break. If Philly loses tonight, they may be every bit as bet against as I've got Dallas's bet on. Without Luka, I'm very concerned about the Sixers' chemistry right now.
Sammy has an interesting point. Brooke Jordan also on the under. Sammy says under in Miami, Philly. Miami boys hungover from a Super Bowl party. Do you think that could be an angle here?
If the game was being played at 8 a.m, maybe. The NBA players live a night lifestyle. Okay. And they're used to doing whatever they do in the late night hours and then getting ready for a game the next night. So I would not expect a particularly sluggish Heat performance. Although, again, my number's way short on this. So maybe the odds makers saying that they will be all hungover. Stranger things have happened. But in general, you see it once in a while. But we're a team. I remember getting a phone call from a buddy of mine who worked at a hotel here in Vegas, and it was this, it's a while back. But the Blazers had played in Phoenix the one night. They were playing in Salt Lake City the next night, and then a bunch of the guys stopped in Vegas on the way. And my buddy from the hotel said, "Yeah, their room, the whole floor smells like a Grateful Dead concert." So I went to load it up against Portland the next day in Utah. First quarter, first half, all of that. And they were flat out hungover in that game. They lost by 20 and they were never in it. So that does happen on occasion where a team, they're partying until 6 a.m. and then the next night but they had to travel that next day. This isn't that spot where Miami's got to travel. All they got to do is, wake up from the hangover, get yourself ready to play and go. So I wouldn't anticipate the fact that they partied last night to be a major impact on today's game. It could, but it's not something I'm willing to bet on. That maybe. Especially at 2.5, where the number's way cheaper than my power rating number.
I hear that. Great breakdown. I'm not going to make a move on that, but I do think it's an interesting point, Sammy. And thank you for sharing with us. Let's move on to Pistons, Grizzlies. Next up, Detroit, Memphis. Memphis opening up at -8. Now there's a -9 on the board at Pinnacle. Pace last 5 for the Pistons, slow. 27th in the association. Also, no Derrick Rose. We're expecting no Derrick Rose, groin injury. So we're expecting him not to be in the lineup. And Bruce Brown has stepped up in a big way. And Casey is in love with this kid. And also, Doumbouya comes in after getting benched and steps up with 17 points himself. It was a very shocking way to snap a 5-game losing streak to go into Denver on Sunday yesterday and win 128-123. But now they're on the second half of a back-to-back. Memphis angry at that 139-111 loss at New Orleans on Friday. Very fresh. They get Jaren Jackson Jr. back. I understand why the Grizzlies are getting hammered here, but it's a lot of points. Do you think the Grizzlies are a move, Teddy?
I think it's too many points. And it's enough points to keep me off of Memphis. I'm just looking for a number real quick. I had Memphis. Just give me 1 second. Let me track this number. Memphis. I'm looking at Memphis as chalk, and I looked it up this morning, and I'm spacing on it right now, so I have to look it up one more time. Yeah, they've covered 1 point spread this year with laying 5 or higher. Not they've been in a ton of them, but they've covered 1 point spread all year at -5 or higher. I know I don't want Detroit. I mean, the Pistons off a win. You talked about some of the injuries they have. Although I've got Rose is questionable, and we don't play Detroit without Rose in the lineup. But with Jackson and Brown, it's not hopeless for the Pistons at the in the backcourt. It really isn't. And Memphis, they're not mature enough as a team for me to be comfortable laying this price. Let them do it a couple times. It's okay to watch and say, all right, Memphis, because we've seen the gradual maturity of the Grizzlies throughout the course of the season. We really have. First out, they started losing. They started out like the lottery team that they were, and then hey, they're starting to win some games at home, and now hey, they're starting to win some games on the road, and now we're going to say, hey, are they going to win games by margin? They're evolving, and they have evolved, but the evolution of winning games by margin, it's not there yet for me with Memphis. So it's one I'm going to keep. It's not an easy pass for me. I wasn't close to Detroit. I wasn't close to Memphis. I wasn't close on the total. Not a game that I was close to making a bet on.
Let's move on to Minnesota, Sacramento. I've still just got one look on this card at this point, but I am interested in Collins props. They're not up because we don't know about Trae Young. And I do actually have some interest on an Embiid points over, but probably going to stay off at this point. All right, Minnesota, Sacramento opening up at -1.5. This total, and that's where it stands now. This total has gone from 228 to either 226.5 or 226. Timberwolves pace last 5-6 in the NBA, and they are on an 11-game losing streak. They lose again Saturday night against the Clippers, 118-106. Kings pace last 5, 24th in the NBA. Kings not playing good basketball either. They lose 129-113 at home to the Lakers on Saturday night. They give up 81 first half points. De'Aaron Fox, 24 points, but 7 turnovers. The Sacramento teams won 3 of their last 11 games. 4 of those 8 losses have come by 20 or more points. 20 or more points. Karl Anthony Towns rolling right now. Another guy who got snubbed for the All-Star game, putting up big numbers. These are 2 bad teams. Are you making a move? Is there a move to make? Timberwolves, Kings.
So, if I was going to make a move, I'd be backing the team on the 11-game losing streak in a +2 spot. And that means I'm not going to make the move. But if you remember, and even now it's 1.5. The twos are gone. The twos are gone. These 2 teams played, was it last week? A little bit, 10 days ago? Not long ago, in Minnesota. And the T-Wolves led by 27. They were up 17 with 3 minutes to play, and they lost the game. That was a game that Buddy Hield went nuts. And the 8,630, whatever it was, and the 31-0 situation went to 8,631, where no team since 96, and it wasn't like there was a team that did it before 96. 96 was just when they started tracking it. But no team since 96 had rallied from 17 down to win the game in the final 3 minutes of regulations, like the way the Sacramento Kings did against Minnesota just last week in Minnesota to continue the T-Wolves' dismal losing streak. That is a loss that Minnesota will remember. And Sacramento's no good. So, I could only play the T-Wolves here. I'm not going to back a team on an 11-game losing streak on the road in a game they have to win to cover. I'm not going to do it. So maybe Minnesota wins this game tonight. Good for them. But that's the only way I can look at it. And I think I've explained clearly why I'm not going to get to the window with the T-Wolves. Minnesota or pass, it's a pass. Total-wise, I don't know what to expect here. There's a fair bit of Sacramento has been a fairly random team of late in terms of when they're capable of beating anyone and they lose the next game by 20, and the pace is the same way. The Kings will play slow for a half and then they'll go crazy for a quarter and then they'll play slow again. I got no sense on Sacramento in terms of totals right now. I don't know if you do, Jimmy, but I don't.
They're a very tricky team to figure out right now. There's no doubt about it. And you're right. When you break this game down, the Minnesota Timberwolves make sense. And if you're going to sit there this evening with a road team on an 11-game losing streak and be like, oh, here comes the cash. I mean, it's just a mess. It's just an absolute mess that I don't want to bother with. Let's go on to Spurs-Clippers. This total, Teddy, 227.5, 228 at some books. We think of these two teams both playing at a very fast pace. That's not been the case lately. And I made this mistake on Friday when the Nets were playing the Bulls. I was like, look at these teams' pace. It's not been nearly as fast as this total. And that went way over. But I feel the same way here. I also think that Pop is not going to want to really push it here in the beginning of the rodeo trip. You know, they're going to be on the road for 8 games. Now, they also are working Aldridge back into the lineup. The Clippers just put up 118 against the Wolves, and the Wolves want to run. I just have a feeling that this game could go under the total here. Clippers open up as 9.5-point favorites. They're now 9-point favorites. What do you think of this spot here, Spurs-Clippers, Teddy?
It's not a spot where I've got a particularly strong opinion. The Clips. Give me 1 second on the Clips. They did something that I made a note about, and I got to remember what the hell the note was. Yeah, for some reason I kept on thinking the Clips played yesterday. They played on Saturday, and workmanlike win and cover. That was early start on Saturday too, so it's worth noting they had a little bit of extra time to get the legs ready for this one, though it doesn't matter a ton in that regard. And the Spurs on the rodeo road trip, historically, we like to bet on San Antonio at this time of year. There's a lot of hype about this road trip. It's become a thing in the NBA. And like all year, Pop gets his team ready for the rodeo road trip. And they all go out to dinners and read poetry during the rodeo road trip. And it's been a positive experience for San Antonio. And of course, because they have this one road trip, the rest of the year, they have a relatively friendly home schedule where they're not playing these extended trips. So the history for the Spurs has been good during this road trip. However, in recent seasons, it hasn't been quite as good. And I remember last year, they got off to a rough start on the rodeo road trip. And there was this assumption that, here they're going to come together, here they're going to come together. And it didn't necessarily happen quite that way. I like this Spurs team. I think there's money to be made with this Spurs team. But I'm not in a whole lot of rush to step in front of the Clips. Clips are title contenders. Spurs aren't. And the price reflects that. But it's not a game where I'm comfortable laying, and it's not a game where I'm comfortable taking. That makes it easy for me. I'll stay in the silence. And I wouldn't talk you out of an underplay. I know it sounded like you were leaning under in this one. There's a chance they could push pace, but these are two pretty good defensive teams in the half court right now. Under does make sense to this better.
Yeah, and also it's the first half of a back-to-back for the Spurs. I mean, they play the Lakers on Tuesday night. I know there's no travel in between, but I am going to pull the trigger on the under here. Under 228.5. That is available at Bookmaker. Let me just grab that right now. Under 228.5. Teddy, before we talk NCAA basketball quickly, can you review your official action in NBA?
Yeah, I made 3 plays on today's card. I got the Dallas Mavericks plus at Indiana. I got the Orlando Magic minus at Charlotte. And I got the Brooklyn Nets minus at home against Phoenix. So that's the 3 plays that I made in pocket for today. I don't expect to make another one. But that's the 3 I've got. Again, it's betting number 547 Dallas, betting number 549 Orlando, betting number 552 Brooklyn.
I love it. I went with Teddy on the Nets minus 2.5, minus 105. I'm also on the under 228.5 in Spurs Clippers, and I will be making a move on the Collins prop for the Hawks as soon as that's made available to me. I'm going to make a move there. All right, there is our NBA card. Thank you for breaking that down with me, Teddy. I enjoyed that very, very much. Are you making any moves on this NCAA basketball card?
I didn't even come close. And I'll be perfectly honest. Super Bowl Sunday last night, we had a little bit of fun. We didn't go through. There was 5 games on the regular card. I gave them a cursory look I did not go into depth in any of them. Nothing jumped off the page at me, and that was that. No action for me in college hoops tonight.
No action in college hoops. We have a question. We'll close with this from Paul Costa. Paul Costa says, could you ask Teddy if he advises being aggressive or conservative after having a big day? I tend to have down days after big days, but shouldn't I try to take advantage of hot streaks?
You should definitely try to take advantage of hot streaks. That said, if you had a big day in the NFL yesterday and you're trying to carry your NFL hot streak over into a different sport today, that's not the same thing. You're a hot streak for me. What it really means is I'm seeing something clearly in any given sport. All right. If I'm seeing the NBA clearly and I'm on a nice run in NBA, yes, I will be a little bit more aggressive. Not crazy more aggressive, but absolutely a little bit more aggressive. Some of the leans become plays. Some of the 1 unit plays become 1.5 unit plays. Absolutely. Well, a 2 unit play might become a 3 unit play. When you're seeing things clearly, you do step it up, but that doesn't necessarily translate across sports. You're seeing good things in the NBA. Doesn't mean you're going to win in hockey tonight. So for me, it's something, it's fairly sport specific. When I'm rolling good and feeling things, seeing things clearly in any given sport, I will be a little bit more aggressive. But one day is not seeing, I had a hot day yesterday. It's like, hey, have I been seeing things clearly in the NBA the last couple of weeks? Yeah, maybe we should think about let's up the unit size right here. We'll pump it up by a quarter. And again, pump it up by a quarter, pump it up by a modest amount. I'm not saying, hey, well, I was betting 100 a game. Now I'm going to bet 400 a game because I'm hot this week. People get in trouble that way. But you say, hey, my bet size has been a nickel. Now I'm going to make it 600. Okay. When you're seeing things clearly, you're allowed to make those type of moves. Is that a long answer?
It was a great
answer.
Question. It was
That's the thought process.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. Miss J says, news and knowledge. Thank you, Teddy. Thank you, Teddy. Teddy, thank you so much for joining us today. Follow this man on Twitter at Teddy_covers. Looking forward to Cap all week with you, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us.
The pleasure's all mine, Jimmy. Enjoyed yesterday, enjoyed today. I look forward to enjoying tomorrow as well. Good luck tonight, low baggers. Thanks for watching, and kick some ass today. Cheers.
There he is, Teddy Covers. We go right from Teddy Covers to Maxwell Smart. Rafa, my man, can we please roll the intro?
It wasn't until 2018 that the diamond in the rough went from hooligan to king of the world.
The guy couldn't play for shit, dog. He was awful. But can he cap? Guess he can.
Max, happy Monday to you. How are you doing this morning, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Jim. It's been a good weekend, and I'm ready to get cracking on this wonderful, attractive MEAC and SWAC card.
I love these Monday cards for you, Max. So Max had a tough day. It was a very unlucky loss on that under.
Baylor at -6.5 on Pinnacle, and it took me right there and made my bet for me. So pretty much I'm looking at this game pretty simply. K-State has been playing more up-tempo than we're used to seeing out of them. I think that Baylor, who's been doing the opposite, is going to be able to continue to do that. They're going to be able to guard on the perimeter. They're going to be able to control the opposition in transition. And with Freddie Gillespie down low, we've seen what he can do. We've seen this guy really deter people from driving to the paint. And when he does, he's forcing them to take off balance and shots that they didn't think that they were going to take when they're driving through the lane. Throw in Tristan Clark and working him back into the rotation. It just adds that much more levels to this offense for Baylor. I think Baylor makes Kansas State look really bad tonight, and I think that the 6.5 is a gift. So I like Baylor up to about 10 points.
Wow, look at that. Baylor still available at 7. Bovada has moved it to 8. That is the first look on Max's card. Baylor, let's take a look at the other spots on his card. We're going to get the chance to touch on each and every one of these games. Max, next look on your card is Delaware State at home against Maryland Eastern Shore. You gave out Delaware State -4, and it's now down to 3.5 at bookmaker. Why are you backing Delaware State here?
So I don't really give a crap where this line is going. Delaware State's taking care of business and cashing my ticket. So you want to get 3, you want to move it to 3, go ahead, hit it at 3. I support that. This is a Delaware State team that can really move with pace on offense. They can really get out in transition, score the basketball, and get to the free throw line. When I look at Maryland Eastern Shore, what do I see? I see a team that struggles to get to 60. I see a team that does play some decent defense, but on the road, I think that against Delaware State's zone, they're going to have even more problems. I don't think that they get to 50 in this game. I think Delaware State has played definitely some tougher competition when it comes to the conference. And I think that they've done a good job. I don't expect them to beat North Carolina A&T, but you put up 67 points against them on the road. I think that tonight, this is a game where you see John Crosby, you see John Stansbury, you see guys like Jaquan Wiley, a.k.a. Pinky Wiley. They're going to be able to get their shots. They're going to be able to get their tempo. And I think that even with A.J. Chisman and Brian Urisha back in the lineup for them, I just don't see how this Maryland Eastern Shore team is going to be able to first overcome the zone. Second, how they're going to be able to nullify Delaware State's ability to get out in transition and really speed up and not allow you to get set up. Free throws are obviously a problem, but I don't think that it's going to play a factor into this game. The amount of volume that Delaware State's going to go and get to the line in an average game is definitely makes up the difference. And it's just about them limiting fouling, limiting turnovers, and that's pretty much with every game and every team. So if you don't make mistakes and don't beat yourself, I think you beat this team by at least double digits.
And you are also on this Delaware State under as well. Delaware State under, it's gone from 141 down to 140. Why are you on this under?
Yeah, this is a spot where I think that, like I said before, we have one of the worst shooting offensive teams in the nation. Playing at home, they're definitely going to play a tight game. I don't see this game getting past 133 or 134. Those are by my numbers. I would have lined this a lot lower. I think that we still have this perception of Delaware State that they're going to put up 80 when really they want to hold you to 60 and they want to score 70. So
I love it. There we go. We are on the board. A double up spot there for Max with Delaware State. Let's take a look. We're going to touch on each and every game on this card, so don't worry. We're going to touch on them all. The next look that Max is on is Grambling State. Max backing Grambling here at Mississippi Valley State. Grambling State opening up at 9.5 at Pinnacle. It's now up to 11. And Max got him at 9.5. Why are you backing Grambling State on the road here?
Yeah, Grambling's definitely been ripping your money up and laughing at you while they're pissing all over it, but I think that this is a spot that they get right. I think that against Mississippi Valley State, some of the more challenged offensive teams look better. I expect Grambling State to be able to get out to a lead and not fall behind early. I don't think that they're playing against the offensive efficiency of a team like Alcorn State. However, I do think that it will be important for them to focus on shutting down Michael Green and Caleb Hunter. That's one of the most dangerous duos in the SWAC conference when it comes to combined scoring. And Grambling does not want to see this game get into the 150s. It does not suit them. It does not suit their style of play. It does not suit their offensive efficiency ratings. When I look at this Grambling State team, you do like some of the pieces personnel-wise. They do have a good point guard, but this is a spot where I think that Grambling is going to be able to get their kind of tempo, their kind of pace. They're really going to be able to guard well on the perimeter and stop Mississippi Valley State from being able to score fast. When I look at the total from a total perspective, if Grambling gets their way, this game is going under, and this game is staying under by multiple points. So this is a clear situation where I'll be selling points up to 6 or 7 on this total. So as strong as I feel about Grambling winning this game and winning this game by double digits, I feel equally as strong as in taking the under in this game. I don't think this game sees 150. So.
All right. You want the under 151.5 at minus 106?
No, because I'm going to bet it. I'm going to sell points on it. I'm going to take a bigger price. I'm not going to waste my time taking it at close to even value.
Okay, I hear it. And there was a mistake with Max's records. It's been fixed now. Rafa, could you put up Max's overall record here on Betting with the Bag? As you know, it means so much to us, the honesty and transparency, even if we don't like what we see. And there you have Max plus 14.29 units and climbing fast. Okay, let's move on to Sac State. You are on the Sacramento State over here. Sacramento State at home against Idaho. This opened up at 119. Another reason why you got to follow Max. He got it at 119. It's all the way up to 122. Max, why are you on this over?
I simply have this game. This is an arbitrage betting spot again. Showed me value, showed me what I should put on my bankroll, and that's what I did. I think that when I look at this Sacramento State team, yes, they do get their tempo, style, and low scoring at home. This is a team that you're going to struggle to get 60 points on. This is a team with a dominant big man in Joshua Patton who can be quite efficient from the field, dominate the clock while on offense, and really protect the rim well, and does a good job of staying on the floor without fouling. I think that with this Idaho team, you have to take notice of Trevor Bell. This is a guy that's going to give you 20 points a game, and he's been doing a hell of a lot more as of late. I think that even though the results have not resulted in W's for Idaho, this is a spot where it's hard for me to get on Sacramento State. And when I look at an Idaho team with a scorer who can give you 25 and can make shots for you when you need them, well, I had this game at 126. 119 and a half or 119, even up to freaking 122 is still a good number in my opinion. So any way you look at it, I still suggest getting on Sacramento State if you're capping lean that way. And I think that when you have scorers that can score efficiently, I think that we're going to be able to get over this 119 and a half.
I like it. There we go. Those are the 5 plays that Max locked in early. Delaware State -4. Delaware State under 141. Baylor -6.5. Sacramento State over 119. And Grambling State -9.5. Let's start breaking down the rest of the card, Max. A question coming in from our Glenn Elliott man says, could you ask Max if Texas missing Hepa and Liddell? Liddell is a big deal. Thanks. Texas at Kansas. Kansas, third-ranked Kansas, opening up at -15. Now 14.5 and 14s. This total has gone from 129.5 to 131.5. Max. Texas, Kansas.
Yeah, the only spot that I look in this game, it would be to the over. I think that Kansas is definitely going to play angry, efficient, and they're going to rout somebody. I think it's going to be Texas. This is a spot where I have no interest and no edge on betting the side. The number I think is accurate. There's no value on the odds, and I think that when you look at this over, if you want to jump on it, you get on it now because I see this game going into the 140s.
There we go, into the 140s. Wow. Wow. Okay, let's move on to another big game. North Carolina at 5th-ranked Florida State. Florida State opening up at 9.5. It's where we have them now. This total's come from 144 to 145, Max. North Carolina, Florida State.
Yeah, I think that with Cole Anthony coming back into the lineup, it sort of messed up some of the chemistry that was going on between Garrison Brooks and Brandon Robinson and Armando Bacot. I think that when you get Cole Anthony coming off the bench, you're getting a guy that's going to play a lot more isolation. There's going to be a lot less ball movement, and it's not going to give that kind of opportunistic multiple opportunities for North Carolina to get on that offensive glass and really do what they do well, which is what they did against North Carolina State. Get on the glass, score easy points, get to the free throw line, use your size, rebound defensively, and get in transition. I think that with North Carolina, definitely my numbers like North Carolina on the first half more than full game. This is a Florida State team that definitely has earned this ranking, even though I tried to ignore those numbers in front of the teams. Devin Vassell is proving to be every piece of a 5-star recruit that people thought he was. He's coming off a 27-point game. Very efficient from the 3-point line. I think that if he goes off, North Carolina goes down, but I definitely think North Carolina gives them a game in the first half, and I'll take North Carolina first half for the show officially.
Absolutely. Let's get you North Carolina first half right now. Line shopping at sportsbookreview.com. North Carolina first half +5. North Carolina first half +5 at -105. That sound good?
Yes, sir.
North Carolina, NC first half, +5 and -105. Next up, Max, we come to the Taint play of the day. Taint went 5-0 last week. And Matt is on Lafayette here. Lafayette, moneyline Lafayette at Bucknell. Lafayette opens as 1-point favorites. Bucknell are now 2.5-point favorites at Pinnacle and 2 everywhere else. Do you know why the market has moved in that direction, and what do you think of backing Taint here?
Okay, well, this is a game and a team that obviously I'm very close to, has filled my pockets all year. I love the Leopards. And I've also nicknamed myself the Patriot League Master. So you could refer to me that also, as well as Maxwell Smart and a couple other nicknames I won't repeat on the show. But when it comes to this game, let's be honest. Bucknell did everything that you need to do against Lafayette to beat them in their first game this year. What did Bucknell do? Bucknell took advantage of how Lafayette plays defense. Lafayette is not going to play up in your face. They're going to cut off lanes for you to penetrate. They are going to allow you to shoot your way into a loss. But what Bucknell did in that game earlier this year was they hit 10 3-point shots. They made 50% of their 3-point attempts. If you shoot and make shots, you will beat Lafayette. If you miss shots and Lafayette is able to guard without fouling, which they do a very good job of, one of the best in the nation, then Lafayette wins this game because they are the more efficient team. They are the better 3-point shooting team. They hit their free throws on a more consistent basis, and Bucknell's perimeter defense is leaky like a ship in Vikings. When I look at this Lafayette team, it comes down to what are you going to get out of Justin Jaworski, Miles Cherry, Kyle Stout. These are the guys that make this engine run. They have depth. They have young guys emerging. I think that the Leopards win this game. I like +2. I like the money line. I like first half. I think that they get revenge because I think that Bucknell is forced to penetrate to the bucket more than they want to. And I think that with the way that Lafayette is going to guard you as you're driving, you're going to be able to take more off-balance shots. They're going to end up in misses, end up in defensive rebounds, and buckets for Lafayette on the other end. So give me Lafayette +2.
Lafayette, I can give you +2.5. Right now, let's do that at Pinnacle.
What's the juice?
I don't think it's much because it's moving in Bucknell. It's -104.
Okay, no problem.
All right.
I won't question that.
Lafayette +2.5 at -104. The money line for Lafayette at Pinnacle is +126, +110 everywhere else.
Yeah, I'd only be looking at first half money line, but that'd be a personal play.
All right, I am going to tail Taint and Max here. That's my first look on the board. Taint hot, man. The Taint is hot. All right, there's my first look on this college basketball card. Okay, Max, let's keep rocking. We have NC Central here, and I believe that NCAA and okay, no, sorry, that's a different spot. That's NCAA. Okay, Norfolk State, NC Central, Max. NC Central opening up at -2. Now they're -2.5. Is there a move to make here?
Not for me at this number on the total. I think that I'm definitely looking at North Carolina Central, but I think that I want to see if there's a little bit more buyback that comes back on Norfolk State. Listen, Norfolk State with Joe Bryant Jr. and Jermaine Bishop, these are guys that can score the basketball. They get to the free throw line, they make their free throws, and they play good perimeter defense. I think against North Carolina Central, though, you've seen Jabari Blunt really have to get some help from other guys in the lineup. And if you can get some performances like you did last game out of CJ Kaser, who gave you 22 points, I think that you can stay undefeated and stay ATS undefeated at home in North Carolina Central. But if you're not going to get another offensive performance from somebody that we aren't used to seeing perform like that, then I think that Norfolk State's going to win this game. And that's all to it. So nothing official for the show, but I'd be leaning towards Norfolk State in this game at 2.5. But if it goes back down to closer to pick'em, I would take North Carolina Central. So nothing strong enough for anyone else to tail.
All right, let's keep rolling through this card. We're going to touch on each and every one of these games. Next up, Coppin State at Howard. Matt is on Howard at plus 4.5. It opened at 4, now 4.5, and this total high at 154.5 or 155. What do you think of backing Howard here? Is there a move to make on this game, Coppin State Howard?
Yeah, I see that's a really nice spot also. I think that without Kamar McKnight, we've seen Coppin State be a little more inside and out. I think that with Kobe Thomas for Coppin State, you really have to shut him down. And then my other concern is just for Coppin State, for Howard, is how they deal with the size and the rebounding advantage that Coppin State's going to have. Howard's constant Achilles heel every game that I've watched them this season is they just they can't win on the glass. Coppin State is a volume free throw shooting team with Kamar McKnight and without Kamar McKnight. I think that if you can keep Coppin State off the free throw line, if you can do a better job of rebounding, the situation definitely fits to take Howard. I think that when you look at Wayne Bristol, you look at Khalil Robinson, you look at Zion Cousins and Charles Williams, you got enough guys that can score the basketball. It's just a matter of can they get on the glass, can they defend, and can they slow Coppin State down, because going into the 160s is not gonna benefit Howard in this spot. But by the numbers, I'd be looking at Howard. But I'd also be looking at selling some points on the total.
Next up, SC State, North Carolina A&T. This was the one that our Matt Randall going under 146.5. Do you have a move to make here, SC State, North Carolina A&T?
I'd be leaning towards South Carolina State, at least on the first half. I think that with North Carolina A&T, we've seen them be really dominant ATS. We've seen them be very balanced offensively. We've seen Cameron Langley and Ronald Jackson really be efficient, but I question how much depth this team has. If they get into foul trouble against a team that can really score slow and inside with guys like Damani Applewhite and Tashon Riley, South Carolina State could surprise North Carolina A&T. I look for Ian Kennard to have a big game, and I look for him to start it early. If he can get his shot off, and coming off a pretty bad performance and a low-volume shooting game, I think that South Carolina State can at least stay with North Carolina A&T first half.
Do you want to make that an official play?
No.
Eastern Washington, Northern Arizona. Northern Arizona opening up at -1. It's 2 now at Pinnacle. This total's gone from 152 to 153.5, Max. Eastern Washington, Northern Arizona.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see the development of Northern Arizona so far this year. This team was terrible last year. They're anything but that this year. You're really seeing guys like Cameron Shelton take over this team. He's putting up big games and big numbers. Throw in Cameron Satterwhite and Brooks the Bishop, and you got a really nice bunch of guys to go up against Eastern Washington. Listen, with Jacob Davidson, Mason Peatling, if you get them into foul trouble, you're going to give them problems. And Eastern Washington only being able to struggle to get to 60, not even getting to 60 against Sacramento State, gives me room to have caution and concern about this spot. If I'm looking at this spot from a number perspective, I think that Northern Arizona from a free throw shooting and three-point shooting perspective is going to have the advantage. I think being on their home floor is also going to benefit them. We've seen them being able to really adjust their tempo. I think that's going to come down to, can you stop yourself from turning the ball over? Can you win on the defensive glass? And if Northern Arizona can do that, they're going to beat Eastern Washington tonight. No play for me as of yet, but I'd be leaning Northern Arizona.
Just a couple of games left on this card, and then we'll get to the play of the day. Texas Southern, Alabama State. Southern opening up at -5, now -5.5. This total stuck at 139.5, Max. Texas Southern, Alabama State.
Yeah, this is a tough spot for me not to take Texas Southern. I think that with Texas Southern, we've seen guys like Johnny Jones and Eden Ewing and company be able to really score the basketball. I think it comes down to what are you going to get from Tyreek Armstrong. If Tyreek Armstrong's going to give you solid game, he's going to distribute the ball, he's going to do a good job of staying on the floor and being efficient defensively. Listen, it's one thing to get steals, but if you're turning it over as much as you're forcing turnovers, well, the plus-minus ratio is obviously 0. So With Alabama State, I think that definitely a little more challenging at home, and it really comes down to can you stop Toby Iwushu. I always pronounce his name wrong. He's a very interesting player, 6'5", 200 pounds. He's got a lot of inside-out potential. If he sees an advantage, he's going to take advantage of it. But pretty much, in my opinion, if you can shut him down, then you shut Alabama State down. You don't want to get into a rock fight with these guys. You want to get your tempo, but by my estimations, this game is going to be a game that stays under. And I'd actually be looking to make that an official play on the show.
All right, let's give you that under in this Texas Southern Alabama spot. Steve Overlays on Texas Southern. While I'm giving you the under, Dirty Will has a question about Northern Arizona. Dirty Will, man, just saying that name makes me happy. My best friend, one of my best friends growing up was named Will too. We call him Dirty Hogan, Dirty H, Big Dirty Hogan, Dirty Will. Feels like you're my long lost friend. Max, Dirty Will wondering if Northern Arizona is a fast paced or slow paced team.
Northern Arizona, I say is I wouldn't say that they're a slow-paced team. I'd say that they're slower than Eastern Washington, but I would say that they can move with tempo if it benefits them. Against Eastern Washington, you don't want to allow them to get to 40 in the first half. That's definitely not a good sign. I think that they can shoot. They can go shot for shot with Eastern Washington, but it's not going to benefit them. They want to be efficient. They want to be able to make the most of the three-point shot opportunities. And I think that with Cameron Shelton performing the way he has, I think that you got the guy to go up against Jacob Davidson. And I think that when you take Jacob Davidson out of the lineup, you take away a lot of the tempo and efficiency that you get with Eastern Washington from a total perspective.
A great answer, Max. And you are on the Texas Southern under 139.5 at -108. 2 games left, Max, on the card. And then we got to get to the play of the day. Jackson State, Arkansas, Pine Bluff. This total opened up at 122. It's up to 124. Sorry, I'm just on totals right now because I gave you your total. And from a spread perspective, there's been a big move towards Jackson State, opening up at -4.5, now up to 7 at Bovada, 6.5 everywhere else. Do you agree with the market move towards Jackson State, and are you making a move on this one?
Yeah, I've already made a move on this. I'm on Arkansas Pine Bluff +7. This is a spot where if Tristan Jarrett does not play for Jackson State, I see Arkansas Pine Bluff being stingy and being able to stay in this game. Obviously, Arkansas Pine Bluff is one of the dirtiest, worst teams in college basketball, but the fact is, ever since Sean Doss has gone out, this team has had to play 10 or 11 guys. I think when you have guys like Jordan McNair and Artavius McDice, they can do some things for you offensively and on the glass. Markel Carter, Marcus Wallace, Daquan Morris, these guys have shown that they can give you double-digit point games and they can score the basketball. But what does Arkansas Pine Bluff do best? They play a slow-tempo, grind-out style of game where you're going to struggle to get to 100. I think that Jordan McNair is going to be able to do enough distribution, and I think that Markel Carter is going to be able to do enough on the offensive and defensive glass to be able to keep Arkansas Pine Bluff in it. This is a team that definitely doesn't shoot the three well, but Jackson State shoots the three at 25%. I don't think that free throw shooting, there's a major advantage for either team at this point. And as long as Arkansas Pine Bluff doesn't get destroyed on the glass, I keep on saying that, but that's pretty much how I look at it. If they can do an amicable job on there, I think that they stay in this game, and I think that on their home court, they could even win it.
I like it, Max. Did you want to make the 7 an official play? Because it is hanging at Bovada.
What's the juice?
-110.
Okay, yeah.
All right, Arkansas Pine Bluff for Max. While I'm giving you that final play on the card, then we'll get to the play of the day and put a bow on this. PREVEW A&M, Alabama A&M. Opening Alabama A&M as 7.5-point home dogs. Now at 7. Is there a move to make here?
Yeah, for me, there's no move on this game to make just because I need to know what the status of Devontae Patterson is. If he is not playing in this game and he plays 6 minutes like he did in his last game, and PREVEW, I believe, won, but may have lost by 3 points. I can't remember off the top of my head. But if he's not in the lineup, pretty much I don't want a piece of this game. I don't want a piece of this team.
I like it, Max. You broke down every game on the card. Spectacular work. And that takes us to the play of the day, Max. Who is it?
Okay, so we're going to go to Lafayette and Bucknell. And plain and simple, we're going to take Lafayette in the first half. I think that they win the first half. Give me first half money line, please, Jim.
First half money line is the play of the day. Let's grab it right now. First half money line. Here we go. The play of the day is in, and is Lafayette at plus 110 from Bet365. Lafayette first half. Lafayette first half at plus 110. And that is the play of the day. Great job, Max, breaking down this entire card. All right, let's look at all the action. I am tailing 3 plays. I'm tailing the play of the day, Lafayette first half at plus 110. I'm also on Lafayette full game plus 2.5 and Arkansas Pine Bluff plus 7 at minus 110. The play of the day is in from Max. Lafayette first half. He's also on Arkansas Pine Bluff plus 7. Texas Southern under 139.5. Lafayette plus 2.5. North Carolina first half plus 5 minus 105. Grambling State minus 9.5 and minus 112. Sac State over 119 and minus 112. Baylor minus 6.5, minus 113. Delaware State under 141 at minus 110. Delaware State minus 4 at minus 111. That is from Maxwell Smart, a.k.a. the Patriot League Master. Glenn Elliott Man is on Baylor minus 7. Flyers Red Wings under 6. Knicks plus 2. Texas plus 14.5. And Dallas Rangers go to overtime at plus 310. The Big Beaver play of the day coming in from Canadian Capper is Travis Konechny for a power play point at plus 330. Travis Konechny for a power play point at plus 330. Lamont Williams, 3-team parlay. Kansas minus 14.5. Florida State minus 9.5. And Phoenix Suns money line. He's also on the Devin Booker over in points today. And college basketball, he's on Idaho plus 10. Tom Marino has been cashing with the Panarin, shot prop, and he's on it again. Panarin over 2.5 shots. He is going to be on that. Dan Kelly taking Maverick McNeely at plus 10,000 to win the PGA AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. The Taint play of the day, Lafayette money line. Also, he's on Howard plus 4. NCAA South Carolina State under 146.5. And Robert Allen is on Kansas State plus 7. Kansas State plus 7. I'm on, in NBA, the under 228.5 at minus 110 in Spurs Clippers. And I'm also on the Brooklyn Nets with Teddy. That's one of Teddy's 3 looks as well. There we go. In NHL, I am on the Detroit Red Wings first period at plus 158. The Detroit Red Wings first period at plus 158. Matt Randall says double up on that Lafayette game. I did, Matty. I did, my friend. Peter Lucas says, didn't he look so bad against the Knicks? I watched the whole game. And Mally Mal asking Rod what exactly he loves about the Pacers. And Rod's wacky think it's a Pacers bounce back spot. Max, thank you so much for sharing your hard week. Can't wait to cap this college basketball card with you all week long, Max. Great job over the weekend, 4-1 over the weekend on official betting with the bag plays. Max, the Patriot League Master, can you lecture us into the future?
Absolutely. And of course, Jim, I'm going to get myself a nice box of chicken tenders. I'm going to dip them in multiple packets of honey, and I'm going to enjoy that Goldie goodness all afternoon. So without further ado, leche a los bookmaker!